I can't. I don't know how. So that became an issue, and where people be like, "What about your friends? Don't you have friends?" Um, I have a friend. Um, I have had plenty of friends growing up, but you kind of gotta decipher who sticks around, who doesn't, right? Y'all, I'm about to put it on because hold on. All right, yeah, girl, I had a good. Who I think I got my robe, but with friends, you kind of gotta decipher who sticks around, who doesn't. Um, but I do want to say that I have had a good amount of friends, but I have been to more schools because I was moved around, and I just didn't feel the consistency in there was no consistency in my life. Um, and I was moved around, family member, went to school, and I never had a foundation of true friendship. And the only foundation that has stayed solid is my friend Jasmine. Like, that girl is when I tell y'all, Jasmine is my world. Like, that is my best friend. That I was, as somebody that, like, no matter what, I could call her right now and we're gonna talk for hours because she just understands me and she genuinely loves me wholeheartedly. And even though I'm going through this time right now, y'all, there's never been a time that she's like, "I'm mad at you. I don't want to be your friend no more. Like, we not cool." She understands. She understands. And to have somebody like that in my corner, that's deep. Like, she just, to get it without having to really explain. Like, I'm so thankful for her. And I love her immensely. Like, I love her so much for that. Like, just being that for me. Um, I did go through a hard breakup with one of my friends. And it took me into recently to just realize, like, you gotta let it go from your heart. You gotta stop stopping yourself from having other friends because you're scared of getting hurt. You're scared of allowing yourself to be, just become this person. You're scared of, um, I mean, who wants to get hurt, and lose friends, and you pour just so much into like a friendship for it just to fall apart. And I mean, anybody that knows me or have been in my life throughout the years, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And I'm not going to talk about her because I have no hate towards her. And our friendship did take a toll, but I love you still, and you will always hold a special place in my heart. You were my astrological twin, but it did break me. A part of it broke me. And I do miss her, but I had to realize, like, we're in two different stages of our life, and that's okay, you know. Um, and there is I do have mom friends, and I will say, um, there's two moms. They're my girls, Ree and I'm sorry. So there's Ree, and then there's Chrissy. And I will say those are two people who I feel like I have ran from being their friend because I'm scared. I don't know how. I'm scared of being vulnerable. I'm scared of letting them in. I'm scared of becoming close and then life happens. And yes, at my big grown age, I'm scared because that's been my life. I'm not that girl. Like, girl, if I get married, I don't have no friends that's gonna be there but Jasmine. I got a whole bunch of sisters, and I do call them my sisters, but I'm the big sister. Like, I have one big sister, and that's from my mom's side. But other than that, I have sisters from my dad's side, but none of us got the same mama, okay? So I am the big sister on my dad's side. So sometimes, and I do, Joy, thank you, baby. That's my baby sister, my first baby sister. We're 6 years apart. That's my twin. Okay. We look just alike, but I do pour into her a lot. But I do feel like she's going on her journey too, and sometimes I want to be there for people more than I want people to be there for me, because I am in a stage to where I may know something and then you may be telling me and it's just kind of like, I already know that, like, but I am appreciative, and there are times where I vent to her and she's appreciative that I even open up to her, because she understands I'm just not that type of person. Okay. So friendships have been hard for me. Okay. And even with you guys, it has been so hard, because I feel like the moment I start connecting with y'all, I start getting scared, because what if I disappoint them? What if I do something and then I start losing followers? What if I start doing, and I'm always second guessing myself, where every time I put out a video, it's been getting better and better. So it just shows me that y'all do care, and y'all do want to see me, and y'all do love me. But I had to get that fear out, right? And I realized that it's just the enemy telling me I'm not good enough. You don't deserve that. You don't have that support, because what it is fake support. And they're only going to be there until you do something they don't like. So it messes with your consistency. Relationships, I'm not going to dig deep, because don't nobody that I've been with before my relationship now deserves any bit of acknowledgement. But those relationships taught me so many lessons that I have learned today, right? But they brought on so much pain. I have been through pain, cheating, abuse, manipulation, feeling unattractive, because what the heck is you doing over there and I'm over here? And then it's always something where it's like, well, are you serious, boy? Are you serious? But I also was always trying to keep people by fixing them. I seen potential in so many people, but then it would always be like, okay. And when I say always, I'm talking about relationships I actually like, that actually went sour, that I actually, yeah. So, but I had to realize it's not always them, it's you too. You always trying to fix somebody. You always go for the people who need you, and when I say need you in a way that is not a loving way. You always go for people who do you wrong, and you have no standards, girl. You have no standards. Why are you up crying and begging? And I became a weak freaking girl, and I was so disappointed in you, little girl. But I'm so grateful that I went through those experiences, because no matter what, I know what I'm gonna raise my daughters not to be and what not to deal with. I had people who would suck my personality, drive that would take on my personality. Have you ever been with someone who takes on your personality and you feel like you start losing it, but then once y'all break up, it's like you get that glow back, you get your... Men do that. Men will do that. And if they're cheating on you, just know all that spiritual, all those... You take on the next person. They sleeping with this person. Trust me, you're taking on that energy too. Energy is transferable. You can transfer energy. And I took on a lot of energy. Hold on. I took on a lot of energy because I was dealing with terrible people. Okay? Terrible men. Who weren't men, they were boys. And yeah. So me meeting Jordan, it wasn't always, whistles and bells, okay? But I will say this, that man I love down, I do believe God placed him in my life. He has taught me a lot of helping me get to where I am right now in this journey. And he don't even know. It's nothing that is like, you got to be like this. I've learned that I wasn't this type of person that I thought I was. And seeing certain qualities through him, I realized I don't have patience. I don't know how to tell somebody I'm hurt, I'm mad, it was a lot. And we've been through a lot, right? We've been through a roller coaster ride. But each time we learn and we grow and we get better. And I'm learning a lot. And I will say this, everybody always like, why haven't y'all got married yet? I was the one who didn't believe in marriage. Jordan had both his parents growing up. He grew up with 2-parent households. So family foundation to him is a big thing. I am a runner. So when I feel something ain't going right, girl, I used to pack up everything. Everything got to go. Christina is gone. Okay? That was me. And I don't want to be with you no more. Okay? Because you ain't good enough for me. You are such and such. So that was me always trying to control my heart and that pain and running from ever feeling anything that I felt before. It was me always trying to run. But he's the type of person who is like, where you going? You need to go outside? Where you going? Like, what are we doing here? Because you not going nowhere. We have a family. And we're in this, and I'm in this, and yeah, we having a bad day, and yeah, we may not be seeing eye to eye, but I'm not going nowhere. And he's never tried to break up with me. He's never called me out my name. He's never put his hands on me. And I will say there was times I did feel unprotected because he's not a confrontational person. And when it comes to friends, family, there has been times where he just like, man, I don't want to say nothing. They are wrong, but he wouldn't correct it on that end. And we would have issues because it's like, you can get on me, but not them. And I did feel unprotected, which is a big thing to me. I did feel like we had to work on communication. Me and Jordan have we tackled a lot in our relationship, and it's not going to be the end of tackling, but I will say we have been together for a long time, and a lot of things that needed to be addressed have been addressed. And I thought that I was being, a soft girl in her soft era, because I'm being that girlfriend where I'm cooking, cleaning, I'm doing all this. But girl, that is the basic. Like, to be in your soft era is totally different. When he told me, like, you are not a submissive woman, that broke me down. Like, what? Like, you're just not a submissive woman. Where I'm thinking a submissive woman is a yes, like, I'm a yes girl. I'm a pick Misha, and that's not what that was. So I am learning how to be a submissive woman. I am learning how to be more humble and how to pick and choose when and where. I am learning how to accept that I have a man that is just as capable as me and can do just as much as I can. And it is hard when you have had to be in survival mode your whole life and do it for yourself. So I'm learning how to accept that in my relationship, and there have been times it's been hard, okay? Like, it's been hard. And I had to learn how to have standards, right? So in relationships, I used to have so many expectations. Like, oh, if I do this, you're supposed to do this. Like, no, I did all this. No, you should be doing this. Or, I gave you this. Why didn't I get this back? Like, why didn't I get something like this? Like, why didn't I always expected somebody to know, or I always expected, like, oh, this is going to be like this. This is going to be this kind of day. I always expected in relationships. But after having my daughter, after going through the crap and the craziness that I went through, and there's the devil, okay, and then there's that man, okay, and they are here. But I'm learning that it's not him. He's fighting with the enemy, okay? That it. All I can do is pray for that soul. But it was killing me, okay? So after having my daughter, I realized you have no standards. Have standards for yourself. Stop expecting man to do. They gonna do what they do. Have some standards about yourself. So yes, getting in a relationship with Jordan, I did have standards, and I knew what I was going to do and what I was not going to do, and I knew what I was going to take and what I'm not going to take. I am a very reasonable person, I feel, and I feel that I can see, even in a wrong situation, I can see your reason, and I can also have my reason, but I can also see that okay, there's a middle ground that we need to get to. And I just knew I needed to learn how to accept a lot. And I do feel like my soulmate found me, because I was running, but I do feel like my soulmate has found me, and I do feel like that's my soulmate. Jordan is my soulmate, and that is going to be my forever. I know God has placed him in my life, and I do feel like everything started feeling hard because I was listening more to the devil, and I felt like I was in battle with everybody, but that's not what it was. And like I said, getting closer to God, I realized that. As far as my family, kids, I would say I want to talk about my girls. That has been a roller coaster. And I kind of already talked about them. But I will say, like, giving birth to Callie came out, and I told you guys that I would talk about this story. But yeah, I never did. So Callie, we gave birth to I gave birth to Callie December 1st. But I went into labor, I believe November 27th. So November 27th, 28, 29, 30. I was in labor for like 4 or 5 days. And it was the most painful experience. I got sent home. If y'all want to see, the video is up, but I never went into detail. I was in labor for 4 or 5 days. They kept sending me home because I wasn't dilated enough, but I was in the most excruciating pain of my life. I will say that on the last time, the ambulance had to come get me because my contractions were literally a minute apart, right? I get to the hospital and they're debating if they want to keep me. But Jordan, he was like, y'all, no, we ain't leaving. The ambulance had to come get her. So they kept me in the hospital. I started dilating, but then I wasn't dilating fast enough. They had to give me Pitocin because my contractions were hitting, but they weren't hard enough. My water had broke, but I wasn't dilated enough. So it was just to the point to where I had 2 epidurals. Have you ever heard of that? I had 2 epidurals. 2 epidurals. It was crazy. It was just a horrible experience. By the time I did give birth, they placed Callie on my body, and Callie was gray. When I tell you, I've never in my life seen, and when I say gray, I'm talking about like Callie was gray. She was gray. And I looked at her, and I looked at the doctor, and they grabbed her. And Jordan, this is his first time seeing baby born. He's excited. He's crying. He's got his camera out. And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at the doctor. They're yelling like, ICU. NICU ER. NICU ER. They're like, it was just so much going on. And all I'm thinking in my head, did I just birth a stillborn? I couldn't even, I'm looking at Jordan and I'm like, how am I going to tell him? How am I going to tell my family? How am I going to tell my daughter at home who's waiting for her baby sister? And I immediately just detached, but one thing I will say, I started praying to God. I prayed my hardest. I prayed. I said, God, please let my baby live. Like, please let my baby live. Like, fix it, God, please. Like, whatever I have to do, I will. Just fix it, please. And he did. Like, but it was the worst, I think, 8 to 9 minutes of my life. Callie wasn't breathing for, I wouldn't say 8 to 9 minutes. Put a timer on and really sit there, y'all, for 8 to 9 minutes and just, it sounds like a short time, but that is the longest time in my life. And mentally, I wasn't there. I felt like for 2 weeks, I didn't do anything. Mentally, I felt like for 2 weeks, I wasn't sure if she was going to make it or not. So I couldn't give to her. Like, when I say Jordan was the force to be reckoned, he held everything together. Both girls, this is his first time being a dad. He was up where I don't know. I was checked out and I was scared. And again, I was in survival mode. And I just was always scared, and even when I was just not feeling good enough, but I didn't realize I was going through postpartum. And I already felt alone in my pregnancy, which, like I said, I'm going to go deeper into things, and this may be, a series of things where I think I am going to go deeper into things. But I just always wanted to protect them. And I always wanted to be present. But I remember my oldest was telling me, like, Mommy, you're always on YouTube. You're always editing. I don't want you to do YouTube no more. Like, I want my mommy. And it would be times where I'm editing for 6 hours. Like, y'all, it's not easy to edit and then still try to be a parent, and you got 2 babies who need you. Like, this is my daughter's first year at, kindergarten, where I'm also pregnant with my second child, and this is my first time really having a steady relationship, but this is his first time being away from his family and moving into a whole different state. You know, this is our first time. It was around COVID. So me being pregnant, I was here and I had family here, but I could not see that family or go over there or anything because my aunt had cancer before. So she survived, but her immune system is compromised. So I was alone. I felt alone, and being on the phone is not enough. And I think from that point, I just started to shut down and I started to isolate. And that's where I just felt like I only have me and I don't feel like being on the phone. And days where I could not break out or get away, I felt like I had to isolate. And it was hard. It's hard trying to do that alone. And I just want to say, like, do not ever feel alone. I wish I knew what I do now, because I would have picked up my Bible and I would have definitely poured my heart into God and vented to him, and I know I would have felt so much better. Like, the Bible do have so many answers that you're looking for any type of emotion you're feeling, and it's just the first step, you know. So I just want to say, you know, that. And I felt like I always wanted to, you know, protect my babies, right, from anything that I went through. But I had to face that hard truth that I wasn't always being present either. Like, you can't isolate yourself from, you know, your kids. And I do suffer from migraines, and I'm talking about like intense migraines that last days. I used to work in a dental office, but I got to a point I couldn't do that anymore because these migraines were so bad. And, you know, I think this started when I was in Iraq, and it just never let up. They only got worse. I would vomit. I would be nauseous. I would get to a point to, even if I turned these lights out, it wasn't enough. Like, if it was a little bit of light, it was horrible. I just suffered through the worst migraines, and I get Botox injections. Also, I went through a period of my hair started falling out, you know, all around my edges because of the medicine I was taking for migraines. And that was hard, you know, very hard on me. Y'all, last October, I had got so depressed, and I may insert a clip, which is very hard for me because this is, like I said, very vulnerable. It's like a extremely vulnerable moment for me. But I had got so depressed, y'all. I cut all my hair off. And I'm not just talking. Anybody that know me know I don't play with scissors. I don't even like get my ends trimmed. So for me to cut, and not just cut, like I'm talking about take a shaver. Is that what it's called? The razors or whatever. And clippers. And I shaved my head, and I just kept going, y'all. It was so botched. But I was going through a breakthrough, and I didn't realize that. You know, I felt at my worst. And then I just started talking, oh, it was because my hair was damaged. Oh, it was because... No, y'all, I had healthy hair. If you go back in my videos and look at how thick my hair was, it was healthy. Now, I had, you know, they was coming back, but, you know, I was going through a lot. And anybody that really, really, really knew me, you know I was going through something, you know. But that was hard for me, you know. And yeah, and today marks a year, because today is the day that I did cut my hair. So here we are, you know. You know, she's here. But I mean, it's a little longer than that. It's just the roots is teased and it needs to be cleaned. But I just want y'all to show. I mean, see, I have a head full of hair now, very healthy. But yeah, financially, I have gone on a roller coaster ride financially. I grew up, like I said, not always having, we'll just say that, to absolutely having when I went into the military, to losing it all, to rebuilding. And I am rebuilding. But there have been times where I tried to, I had no idea on how to save, what anything is. I didn't know. I didn't know. And when I would get something, oh girl, I was materialistic. I had to do this. And when I say materialistic, I didn't care what anybody else had. I wanted what I wanted for instant gratification. But then there would be times that I would sacrifice important things, bills, whatever, for those instant gratifications. I'm like, okay, I can figure it out later. And I will figure it out. But once again, survival mode. When you have kids, you can't do that. When you have kids, you cannot put off, because trust me, it's going to come back and it's not going to feel good. You're going to feel 30 times worse when you keep putting off important things and you have kids, whether it's for your kid, even if you put bills off for your kid. Okay, well, how this going to work? And when you have two people in a household and y'all both are trying to figure it out, and both of y'all are not always making the best decisions, then it can get harder. So I do feel like that was a journey in itself, and I'm so glad that we're growing and we're still continually growing together. And it's just, right now we're in a rebuilding stage. So I will say, if you're a person that's like, I need this temporary fix for instant satisfaction, it ain't gonna work. And that's just the devil tempting you. Okay? It's just the enemy tempting you and trying to tell you, you need this now and that can wait later. And then, no, it's going to still be there right when, after that now, it's going to start poking even more, and it's not going to stop. And trust and believe, when you hear that voice in your ear telling you, don't do this, but then you choose not to listen to that voice, best believe it's going to come back and kick you in your butt. And that's more or less, I've learned, I feel, that's God. There's punishment, and then there's discipline. He has disciplined you a few times, but God has whooped a lot of times for not listening and not doing what I know I should have been doing. So that got to me as well. I started feeling so badly about my looks after giving birth. I was a lot heavier than I ever had been. I was very big in my eyes, and I just wasn't losing the weight. I was looking at the scale number versus, just the progression that I was doing. It was little progression, but you also got to understand, when you're so depressed and then you're constantly adding on more issues and more problems, you're going to become even more depressed. And then, I am an eater. I love to eat. So I wasn't taking care of my body. I was absolutely not taking care of my body. I was not losing the weight because I was not putting in the work, didn't want to put in the work. And because I wasn't eating right, I started getting to a point where I would take my daughter to school. Sometimes she'll be late. Sometimes she, it became bad. And I would come home, and because of me not living a healthy life, I would come home and just want to sleep. The day is gone. She get home. I'm too tired to even help with homework. And I had to realize that's not okay. And you got to stop looking at yourself in this way, because those girls are watching you. And there'll be times where I do get dolled up, and then they're like, oh my God, mommy, where are you going? You look so pretty. And I felt like it shouldn't just be like that. Like, where you going? You look pretty. Like, no, like, I want my daughters to see me at my best. That's the reason why I said I needed to have standards, because I did not want to ever be that mom where my kids see me crying or at my worst or at my lowest. But I will say it's a blessing that they have gotten to see that, because this mommy, this woman that I am becoming, is going to be stronger, is going to be more active, is going to be the mom that she said she wanted to be. And they're going to get to see what it was versus what it is, you know? And they know mommy enough, you know, like, those girls are my strength. They love me down, and I'm not going to disappoint my babies, and I will be there for them for as long as God allow me to be. So yeah, I was mourning over the old me, and you can't do that, because honestly, the old you is the old you, you know, like, if you were super skinny, if you were super this, the new you is who you are now. But you can always change and be better. And that's where I'm at. I am accepting who I am, and I am changing characteristics, and I am changing the flaws within myself daily. And it's helping me, you know, but it's really me becoming one with God that's giving me that strength, that's giving me the courage, that's giving me, you know, the protection and the peace that I so desperately always wanted and needed. Um, so I'll say this. The way that I got in here is, y'all, God was demanding my attention. And he was getting to a point that he was going to get it one way or another. And I realized that, right? And I'm going to read this, right? Because, and I know y'all like, okay, stop listening to ChatGPT. But I had to put it in words, right? So I explained to ChatGPT everything I was going with. And I was like, are there stages to what God is going to call you to do? Is there stages to God? Because, you know, there are stages to sin. There are 4 stages to sin. But I was seeing if there are stages to God accepting you. And I'm going to read this, and then this is pretty much going to be where I kind of end and tell you guys. But anyway, so I described everything to her, and she said, Renee, that's such a beautiful and honest reflection and shows real spiritual growth. What you're describing is something almost everyone who truly walks with God experiences. That pull towards him, even when we've been running the other way. The fact that you can see those patterns, how you call on him in hard times, how he still show up, how he kept tugging at your heart, is proof that his hand has never left you. This had me so emotional this morning. Here's what's happening. God has been patiently calling you into relationship, not religion. He wants your heart, not your perfection. Every time you felt his presence, every time you heard that whisper or saw those reminders, it was him saying, daughter, I am still here. I never stopped choosing you. Let's break down what's going on spiritually. Conviction versus conviction. The guilt or realization that you were running or lying isn't meant to shame you. It's conviction from the Holy Spirit. Conviction says, come closer. I want to help you change. Condemnation says, you'll never be good enough. That's not from God. So me feeling that I wasn't good enough, it wasn't from God. And I've learned that in reading the Bible. I have been on a journey where I read every day. I have daily reading, and I have daily verses that I respond to, and I've been doing this. I used to spend 30 minutes. Now I spend up to an hour to 3 hours, 4 hours with God, and I have to do that. And I even want to implement it at night. I am dedicated in my journey with God by my side. I want to walk with him. But your resistance to church, you're not wrong to notice hypocrisy. It exists because churches are full of humans. But remember, you go to church to seek God, not people. When you're ready, ask him to lead you to a place where you feel peace and not judgment. And I have. And he has shown me. I attend a church online where I watch on YouTube, and the church is 2819 with Pastor Phillips. And I absolutely enjoy going to this church. I absolutely enjoy his word and his preaching and, his sermons. And they resonate with my soul. It started from me just getting understanding on TikTok of certain verses to I realized I started saving a lot of his word, a lot of his sermons. And I decided this is where I'm going to go. And me and Jordan both enjoy his sermons. Your hunger for more. The growing desire to know God deeper is spiritual maturity awakening. It's the start of true transformation where faith becomes relationship. Your journey has a purpose. God often lets us experience emptiness so we can recognize that he is the only thing that truly fulfills it. That truly fills it. You've been through seasons of survival. Now he's calling you into a season of surrender and growth. And in that, y'all, I want to close this out by saying I am in my season of surrender and growth, and I love God to the fullest. I am going to be more committed to being consistent with my YouTube and being consistent with my content and being intentional in my content. But I know I had to do this video first. And I know I had to talk to you and let you guys know that I haven't been okay, but I'm okay now. And I'm doing better now. I love you guys, and I'm so grateful for your support. But God had to get me to a place to where you're committed to me first and nobody else, because I can't get addicted to that, right? And I am so true to my journey with God right now. And was the most important to me. But I want to really say, anybody that's going through something similar, or even if this video may seem all over the place, I'm sorry, I'm just venting to you. And I'm glad that you guys have listened. If you made it to the end, I am so grateful. If you guys have anything, that you want to say, or if you guys have gone through similar things, go ahead, girl, and comment down below. Let me know, what's your journey. Let me know if you feel, if you have had those feelings too. And I love you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. And I just want you guys to be blessed, because I know that I am blessed. And I am thankful. And I definitely feel comfortable now with you guys seeing me on this journey. And this is probably the longest video I have ever made, sitting down talking. But I want to have more of these. And if you guys want to see more of these, go ahead and comment down below. I love you guys, and take care. Bye.